everyone, welcome to a very special edition of Dayspring Discussions. I'm your host, Sean McGahee, and this is the Rogue One, a Star Wars story review. Here to talk everything roguish with me is the always so lovely Miss Lisa Locke McGahee. Lisa, say hello to all the people listening.
Hello.
All right, guys. So, normally this is a show we talk about movies, TV, sci-fi, fantasy, comic books, all that jazz. But today we are talking about one thing and one thing alone, Rogue One. Last night, Lisa and I were privileged enough to be some of the first in town to see the film. It's been about 24 hours since then, so we've had time to let it simmer, think about it a little bit. I know I have been looking forward to talking about it all day long.
Mm-hmm. I did get to talk about it at work today.
See, I had people at work asking me all these questions about it all the time. Josh was asking all these questions about, like, Vader. Like, does he pull out his lightsaber? How much is he in the film? And, I didn't want to spoil too much and stuff like that. Overall, just trying to get people to go see the film. I can't wait to go see the film again. Yeah, I think it's going to be awesome the second time around, too. Looking forward to it. There's a lot of little tidbits and Easter eggs that I caught that I feel like there's a lot more that I didn't catch. And I'll talk about some of the other ones that I caught. I'm sure you've caught a few yourself as well. But we're going to get into it, guys. So just to let you know, this is spoiler territory, okay? If you have not seen Rogue One, a Star Wars story, go out, see it right now if you can get a ticket, and then come back and listen to us, and then comment back on social media of what things that we might have missed or how you felt about the film. Overall, most reviews I've been seeing have been pretty positive. There was one friend of mine on Facebook who said he hated the film. Really? But he was the same guy who said he didn't like Force Awakens too. So
wait, who was that?
It was a guy who grew up with. His name Brendan. He said the best thing about Rogue One was when it ended. And I'm like, that's kind of harsh. Wow, I don't know why he felt that way. But in any event, for the most part, most of them have been kind of positive. I heard some reviews saying the best Star Wars film since Empire Strikes Back. People I know that have posted on Facebook about it today that have seen it have all really liked it. Most people I think said really, really good. So we're going to dive right into it, guys. So we're going to start off with just kind of overall thoughts about it.
Hold on, can we just start? Let's just start. I would like to start first before we jump into this with just a little bit about Catalyst.
Okay, so starting off a little bit Catalyst. So for those who don't know, we've talked about it on Dayspring Discussions before. Catalyst is the lead-in book to Rogue One, written by James Luceno, came out a month ago, and it pretty much leads up to the events of Rogue One, starring Galen and Lyra Erso, which are Jin's parents, and then Orson Krennic, and it kind of, talks about all things...
It's basically it's a story of where the idea for the Death Star came from and the planning process and how the Death Star was created.
Correct.
So it's basically the book covers the lifespan of the Death Star. Because basically that book starts with the initial construction and planning of the Death Star.
Where they're all in that group together and they're like, okay, this is what we want to do.
Yeah, so it's basically the story of how the Death Star came to be. And then you're finding out in the story that Jin, who's the main character in Rogue One, her dad is the scientist who created the technology that allowed the Death Star to have the weapon that it has. So it was not like, and I said this on our podcast too, it wasn't my favorite Star Wars book by any means. I mean, I did like it. It wasn't my favorite of James Luceno's. I think he has others that are better. Yeah. But it was, for a Star Wars book in and of itself, it was okay. But just for what it contributed to preparing you for this film, highly, highly, highly recommend reading it before you go see this movie. Or after, just to help you better under. But if you read it after, you're going to have to go back and see the movie. Because then you're going to be like, and you're going to want to go back and figure things out.
It's like, I posted on Facebook where it's like, seeing Rogue One gives you a whole new perspective on Episode 4, A New Hope, and that's what I felt like Catalyst did for Rogue One. If you hadn't read Catalyst, you go see Rogue One, that's fine, but if you read Catalyst ahead of time, it gave you a whole new, I think, a different perspective on Rogue One.
Well, and that's what I said, we both really liked Rogue One, but I was curious, because in most of the, movie reviewers and people that we, like the Star Wars podcast, they all also read Rogue One. So I'm curious to see if people who didn't read Rogue One or read Catalyst,
yeah.
if they liked Rogue One as much as we did. Like I'm curious to see what effect having read Catalyst, how much it enhanced your enjoying the movie. I'm curious. I don't know if it makes a difference, but
yeah, I know.
I think I enjoyed it more because I knew the backstory.
I mean, those first 5 minutes, I was immediately hooked because I knew, they were on that planet, and I immediately knew how they got there.
Yeah, and you knew all the characters that were involved there. You knew why Krennic was there, and you knew what he was looking for, and why they sent Jyn off, and why they were afraid of him, and it just. And we'll talk about. Okay. Never mind. Well, now we can get into the movie.
So before we let's start off. Okay, just your overall thoughts. Give me 1 or 2 things you really liked about the film, and then maybe 1 or 2 things you maybe didn't like.
I really liked it overall. Overall, very good. I liked it better than The Force Awakens.
Oh, okay. I'm still touch and go on that. I got to see it again before I can make a judgment call on that.
I really, considering that it was a film where you didn't really know any of the characters going in. It felt like a Star Wars film without being a Skywalker film.
Yeah, and that's one thing I said today was like, Josh was like, is the name Skywalker mentioned at all? I'm like, no. It's probably the first Star Wars movie where the word Skywalker is not mentioned at all.
Yeah. So I liked it a lot. I would say one of my favorite things in the movie, I love Vader. He's not in it much, but when he is, he's a fucking badass. And I love that we finally have a film where Vader got to be a badass. Yeah. Because in the books, he's a badass. Yeah. You see him like
in the books and the comics,
yeah, exactly. And then even in Rebels, he got to have some fighting scenes and stuff. But like in the movies, he just like wanders around and force chokes everybody. Like he doesn't actually get out there with his lightsaber and kick ass.
Yeah. And then when he does kick ass, like say Empire is probably when he does the most fighting, and it's just him going slowly, toying with Luke.
Exactly. Like I feel like this one really it really showed how menacing and how evil and how like I really liked and it was like I said, it wasn't a huge scene, but I loved that scene. I liked that a lot, and I liked the relationship and development of the relationship between Jyn and Cassian. Yeah. Like, and the robot. I love the robot.
KS, what is it?
I don't know.
I got it right here. It's K2SO.
Yeah, he was hilarious. And I mean, Star Wars does such a good job of creating personality in their droids. Oh, yeah. Generally, it's with unspeaking droids, I mean, except for 3PO, who never shuts up. But this guy was like a better, less annoying version of 3PO.
I'll give you that, yeah.
He was funnier than 3PO. Like, he was more charismatic for a droid. Like, I really liked the droid.
Yeah. I definitely take him over 3PO any day.
Yeah, but I like the relationship that between Jyn and Cassian. I like how it started and then how it ended. Like, how you just see the development.
That's one thing I was trying to think about, like, all day long, too. Because those are your main characters, okay? You have the crew of Rogue One, which is like, was it 5 or 6 characters? But really, the story was Jyn and Cassian, okay? And I tried just to kind of concentrate on their story arcs, and was it believable? Did they do a good job of it? And I think with Jyn, I think especially with her, it had to do with she was a character who on her own since the age of 15, or her parents were gone. She was raised by Saw to be a fighter. All this, and she was kind of just on her own, kind of living outside the Empire or in the rebellion struggle. But then when she sees her father's message telling her, I've done something and you need to fix it, pretty much. I've given you this way to correct this mistake. I need you to do this. She kind of breaks down and kind of changes her tune on that respect. And then with Cassian, it's about, I love that first scene where they establish right off the bat that he's willing to kill, where he shoots that guy who, he's trying to help, trying to get information from, and he's like, hey, it's you or me. Psh, it's me, buddy, Yeah. He's been in the rebellion his whole life. He, has been in the struggle or whatever. And then when he's given the order to kill Galen, from that first scene that he's willing to do that as well. So then you see that development going from there, to, the rebellion being something that he's a part of, to being something that he truly does believe in, that's worth something. So.
Yeah, I think that they developed his character really well. I think you really can see him him how, just his struggle and the way that he changes, like, throughout it. I think they did a great job.
Yeah, definitely. I like that a lot. Okay, so if you had to do... Okay, give me one thing you didn't like about it.
We talked about this last night. I didn't think that Krennic was very good.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of one of my...
I don't think the acting was bad. I don't really like the character of Krennic, even from the book. Like, knowing him as well as we did from getting to know him in the book, I didn't really like him as a character. I don't think that he's powerful enough or strong enough a character to go up against Vader and Tarkin, and really he's the one that's up against Vader and Tarkin. Like,
that's the kind of thing about this film was, okay, from Catalyst, yes, I like the character as a villain because he was the main villain in Catalyst. So, you having read or listened to Catalyst as well, we knew what he was capable of. Okay? Mm-hmm. And in Catalyst, him and Tarkin were kind of at odds with each other. And I was really looking forward to them, trying to one-up each other again in the film.
And they do
and
you
get that dialogue a little bit, but I never feel like Krennic in this film is any of a threat.
He's chasing his tail the whole movie.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. He's really just trying to, make sure that Tarkin doesn't get the best of him, really, is what it is. And, you feel like he's always behind, and he's not, I don't find him menacing, as well. But, of course, Vader shows up at the end of the movie, and we all wet our pants. I mean, my God. So, but yeah, that's the thing. We're kind of, that's another thing, having read Catalyst, I knew the character better, so I felt like I got a better understanding of him and maybe enjoyed it a little more. If I was walking into this film just, not knowing Krennic the character at all, it definitely, I think, would have been more lackluster, in my opinion. But yeah, so there's one thing. For me, overall, I enjoyed the film. Really liked it a lot, especially as the film got closer and closer towards the end, or closer and closer towards Episode 4, New Hope. I was getting jazzed. Like that last scene with Vader at the end, and oh man, I would left the film buzzing, It was just like, yeah, all right. And that's what I've been telling people. Like today, people are like, how was it, blah, blah, and I told them, look, before you go, watch Episode 4, New Hope. Because not only does, it lead directly into it, but there's also a lot of those little Easter eggs of like characters and things from Episode 4 as well. Like one of the Easter eggs was the two guys that Obi-Wan got into a fight with at the bar in Episode 4. Jin bumped into him, or was Cassian bumped into him, or whatever. Like, hey, watch it, So that's your little Easter egg right there as well. And just those little things throughout that I really enjoyed too. Probably my complaints about the film, of course, there's Krennic. Villain-wise, I didn't find him menacing, but really, when you really have the most infamous film villain.
How do you compete with that?
How do you compete with that? How do you compete with Darth Vader? I mean, my God, man. So with that, there's that. But then there was two times of one was the cameo. Okay, the R2 and C-3PO cameo. No. It didn't serve a purpose. It was just
just to have it.
It's just a little wink, And I'm just like, come on. I mean, they would have fit better in that film at the very end, as like if they were on the ship and troops ran by them, Like when you heard the music, like from the beginning of Episode 4, New Hope. If they were already in the hallway, that's when they should have been in there. They shouldn't have been on the base on Yavin 4 as they took off. That should have been their wink on the ship right before A New Hope starts. And then the other thing that I didn't like was that piece of dialogue when I liked the moment when Vader's walking away from Krennic and he starts to choke him.
Oh, I know, that part was super stupid.
It's like, I don't want you to choke on your aspirations. I'm like, who the hell wrote that piece of dialogue?
I agree.
That was fucking horrible.
That line stood out so much.
It was so out of place.
So out of place.
It was so cheesy.
There's no way Vader would say something like that.
He's just like, shut your mouth.
It was like a horrible, stupid pun, and it was terrible. Oh, I agree. I forgot about that scene, but yeah, as soon as he said it, I was like, that's really weird.
I know, right?
Like, that was bad. That was real bad.
Really, really bad, yeah. So,
and that scene was good until that point.
Oh, no, right?
Yeah.
Oh, man, that scene was so... Oh, the scenes with... Anything with Vader was so good. So, yeah, those are kind of my little two tidbits, and, of course, Krennic. So...
one thing also that I wasn't a huge fan of was how they did Tarkin.
Okay, so I was already getting into that.
I didn't mind the little tiny bit with Leia at the end. I thought that was done better, but she only had to say one word.
Well, I said she's in a lot less of the film than what Tarkin was.
Right, that's what I mean. Tarkin was in so much of it, and I just... It took me out of it, like just the different CG movements of the mouth, exactly. And
well, because he's going against actual people, like his scenes with Krennic. Okay, Krennic was a live, living person there that they were shooting, and then Tarkin, they made his face up to look like the old actor. I forget the actor's name.
Yeah, I don't know.
Of course, but you could tell when you look at it against another actual living person, you could tell it was digital, and that's kind of what my problem was. Is you could tell it. And it kind of took you out of the film a little bit.
Yeah, I agree. I thought I was a little bit distracted by
I liked the attempt of it, but I would much rather have them gotten a different actor, made his hair and more look like Tarkin, and just gotten an actual actor in there as opposed to digital. But that's the way Hollywood's going. I mean, they started all the way back with Tron Legacy when they took Jeff Bridges and they de-aged him to play the villain in that film, and for that I give it a pass. Because he's in a computer world, so of course his younger clone, is going to look digital. Then of course they did it more recently with Michael Douglas and Ant-Man. But again, it was one scene. You saw a couple shots of him.
I didn't think that one. I think that one was probably best.
That's probably the best
any
one.
Of the ones. It
but I don't know.
The Robert Downey Jr. one was really good. Too.
I really liked it. Yeah, because honestly, you look at because we know Robert Downey Jr. what he looked like when he was younger. I mean, I watched films from him younger with like Weird Science or Less Than Zero, so I know what he looked like younger, and he looked so much like that the way they did it in that one. So with this one
reminded me more of the Captain America one with Peggy.
Oh, see, I didn't mind that.
I don't like that one. That one takes me out of it. This one reminded me of that one, like the way you could just tell the mouth was sometimes kind of slightly off and.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was a good attempt. It looked like him. I'll give him that. But I think I'd much rather him gone with a different actor. With Leia, like I said, Leia, they could definitely have gotten away with it because it was one shot. You know, exactly.
One shot, one word.
Yeah, exactly. I'm curious to see again. I want to see who was underneath the beads, or in both of them. Like what actor played Tarkin, what actor played Princess Leia. I don't think they brought Carrie Fisher in, but Anyway, so that kind of took out of it as well. So before we go into the actual, little more in-depth, I guess, let's go through maybe some of the Easter eggs that we saw. Now, I already mentioned one of them with the guys. Another one...
See, the only thing, though, those guys, they would be dead. They can't be the same guys. That whole city was destroyed not long
unless
after.
They were leaving as they bumped into them.
Maybe.
I mean,
I'm just saying.
They could have left.
Literally, like an hour or two later, that whole city was destroyed.
Jeddah City was destroyed, but they could have been on their way out as they bumped into them, because it wasn't until many hours later that the city was destroyed. So there's your rationale for that. So okay, Easter eggs. Let me know. Tell you what, I'll let you start because I want to see.
No, you go.
You want me to go? Okay.
Yeah, you go.
There's only a couple really that I really caught off the bat. There was those guys, and then another one was on the beach. You had the stormtroopers passing by while the rebels were planting the bombs. Okay, and the soldiers were talking, and they were talking about the T-15, which is coming out, making the other one out of date. In episode 4. Luke sells his speeder so they can get money to pay Han to get to Alderaan, and he's like, look at this. Ever since the T-15s came out, they just aren't worth as much.
Oh, I didn't catch that.
That was a good one I caught really well there. But probably the one that I have the biggest question about, and I want to go back and see the film for this. Okay, so when Cassian and Jyn are going through... are in the archive vault, and they're going through the code names for the plans and stuff like that. And of course, he finds Stardust, which I love. That was a good setup for that. Stardust, which is what he called her throughout the entire film. That was a good way to play.
The only thing about that, though, that I don't like is that the Death Star plans were created prior to Galen being on the project. So why would all of a sudden, at some point later in the project... I mean, the Death Star was several years in before he started working on it. So why would at that point they have codenamed the project and the data storage thing Stardust?
Because he was
working on the weapon.
He's still a big role for it, yeah. But I mean,
anyway, I'm just saying that was one thing that bothered me.
I'll give you that. I can buy it though, just because it's nothing you don't really think. It's not too far fetched to think that Galen, who is created this little thing in the Death Star to get it, to destroy it. Can't find a way to, make a schematic, change a name on a, schematic for the Death Star, which we finally got that answer. We finally got the answer as to why the Empire never, accommodated for that little hole that Luke used to shoot the torpedoes through and blow it up, because, Galen Erso made that there. He made it hidden so no one would ever find it. And that was a great one. I love it. People speculated on that too before the movie came out. And, they found out that Galen was, kind of a good guy, forced to work for the Empire, forced to help build the Death Star. There was already speculation that he was the one that, made that little flaw in the Death Star. So it kind of reconfirms that there. Wonder if they would have made the same mistake with the second Death Star if it was completed.
I doubt it.
I doubt it, exactly. But I also have an theory too, okay? So the Death Star took so long to build, okay? So in Catalyst, they were kind of like in a space race almost between the Republic and the Separatists. They were both wanting to build a Death Star, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, except they were both the same side, Sean.
Yes, exactly. But
so both sides were. It was one weapon.
It was one weapon. Well, I'm just saying too. What if the Separatists unknowingly or whatever was already working on the second Death Star?
They weren't though, because both sides were being controlled by the same person.
I'm just saying. I'm just playing devil's advocate. I'm talking out loud here. I'm talking out loud.
I'm saying it doesn't make any sense. There's no way the Emperor would have okayed in both sides that he was leading to start building the same weapon that required so many resources. They were building one weapon because he knew no matter how it would happen, he was playing. Seriously, you don't think that he had planned everything? He planned
exactly.
Everything.
So why wouldn't he plan a backup? Why wouldn't he plan a backup?
Because he didn't think he needs a backup. Because he thought that was the ultimate weapon in the universe.
That's why he had so many apprentices. He had Darth Maul. Then he had Count Dooku. Then he had Anakin. Okay?
I'm just saying.
He's always got a backup.
For his apprentice. There's no way that there was two.
Even in the Legends, I'm going to go full geek on it here, okay? In the Legends storyline, Dark Empire, okay? You learned that wasn't the actual Emperor that died on the second Death Star. It was really a clone, and he had many other clones to back that up and stuff like that. Palpatine, give him some credit. He's got a good scheme. He's got a good plan going.
I just don't see with a weapon of that size that had such destructive power that he would have felt like it was so powerful that there was no need for anything. It would be the ultimate. I mean, they all were talking about how it was the ultimate power
in the universe.
I think the second one just got... Part of what took the first one so long to build was, number one, they had to mine all the resources. That took a lot. That's what part of Catalyst was about, too, was how they were depleting all these planets of these materials that they needed. So that would have made the first Death Star take quite a while to do, because they were still trying to mine all that. By the second Death Star, they already have all those pieces. No. And everything is easier to build the second time around.
But they don't have the Geonosians to help them build the second one, correct?
Well, the Geonosians didn't help them that long in building the first one. They, killed themselves all off.
Well, yeah, they were killing themselves, but they still helped build it, right?
They helped build part of it, yeah.
I remember, because I know we're going to, of course, in the next upcoming episodes of Rebels, we're going to find out more what happened to the Geonosians. Do we know yet what happened to the Geonosians? That's what I thought.
So they were, killing themselves off.
Yeah, because they didn't have work to do, so they were, fighting amongst each other and stuff like that. I get that, but I know, they're no longer around, of course. Excuse me. By the time Rogue One comes along, and I thought they had something happened to where the Empire had killed them, or I don't know. I think we'll find out in Rebels, because I know there's an upcoming episode of Rebels where the crew of the Ghost goes to Geonosis or something to find out what happens to them. Speaking of which, I looked for it. I couldn't find the Ghost. I didn't see the Ghost either. I looked for it in the space battle.
It's hard though because there's so much going on.
Speaking of the space battle, in Easter eggs, they had the Gold Leader.
Yeah,
exactly. They took
on target.
They literally took the clips from episode 4 of Gold Leader and I think it was Red Leader, and they literally put them in the film, which was pretty interesting there. But getting back to my original Easter egg that I was talking about, when Jin and Cassian were looking through the archives and looking at and going through the code names, okay, I didn't catch it until it was the one right before she said Stardust. One of them was Dark Saber. Okay, so Dark Saber, first off, is, I believe, a name of an old Legends Star Wars book. Okay, but also Darksaber is the name of the weapon that Sabine just picked up in the last Rebels episode as well. So I'm like, is that are they talking about the Darksaber? Are they referencing the book? And then I started thinking about all the words she said before that. I'm like, damn it, I should have been paying attention for other stuff as well. So again, when I go back and see it again,
we're going to have to listen.
I'm going to have to listen for that. But I was like, okay. And then I started just thinking about Darksaber in general. I'm like, Darksaber, well, Rebels does take place pretty close to Rogue One. Sabine has the Darksaber. Any reference to Sabine, perhaps, maybe? Like, she is, what that archive is about, perhaps? Or just the Darksaber's history in general? Because it does have a long history as well, too. Going all the way back to the Mandalorian Wars and the Jedi and stuff like that. So, in any event, I want to go back and, listen.
Yeah, that's the thing, too, because I was expecting one of them to be Stardust. As soon as she started flipping through. Yeah. So I stopped listening to what she was actually saying, and I was just like waiting for her to say Stardust.
Where's Stardust? Yeah. I knew that was going to happen too. So
I was also, I don't know what you were going to say, but I was pretty sad that like everyone died.
We were going to get to that. We can get into that right now, I guess.
I mean, it gave me a very, what's that movie that I hate because everyone dies?
Departed.
Because everyone dies.
Well, you knew, because again...
I mean, this one's different. Like, we were expecting
That's what you said, exactly.
I was still kind of hoping that maybe Jen and Cassian would make it out.
Well, I knew Jen was gonna go. I knew Jen was going to... I was hoping one or two of them, out of like the 6 characters, make it out. My hopes were on Cassian, and who's that other guy? The one...
I really like the pilot.
Not Donnie Yen, but the guy with the machine gun there.
Yeah.
I forget what his name is. I don't have him in here. I don't know. Anyway, so yeah, I was hoping he would make it, because he's kind of the character where he doesn't stand out too much, where it's not like he played...
Isn't it this guy?
Is it that guy?
Yeah.
He was all dolled up.
Yeah, I think that's him.
I don't know. Could be. What's his name? Baze?
Yeah, I think
could
it's
be.
him.
Probably is
There was
him.
2 Chinese-ish guys in the movie. I think it was them. That was super racist, what I just said just now. Excuse what I just said. Asian, whatever. There was 2 guys in the movie who were like of Asian descent, and there's 2 guys in
honestly, I'm not trying to get
listing.
offensive here or anything, but he looked more Hispanic to me.
No.
With the long hair and the mustache? Yes,
he was Asian.
Anyway, I mean, Donnie Yen, you could obviously tell, but anyway, let's get off this subject real quick.
Let's move on.
Okay, but I was hoping, like, he was kind of like, he was a good shooter, but he wasn't someone who'd be, like, noticeable, throughout you'd be like, you wouldn't be a character like, well, why wasn't he there in the original trilogy, So, but I mean, I wanted Cassian to make it just because I liked the character.
Yeah, I really liked Cassian.
And that's the thing I hate now is like they have these characters that we like, but now since we know how they die, all we can do is go backwards. We can't go forwards. We can't tell what they were doing in the original trilogy or anything like that. So I was kind of disappointed. You looking up, see what else he's been in?
Yeah, because I've never seen him in anything.
I've seen him once. I forget what it was.
Hey, he's like the same age as me.
Oh, is he?
He'll be 37 soon.
Well, there you go.
Just a week or 2.
But yeah, I mean, he was a great character. Very that Han Solo anti-hero almost kind of character. And I was hoping he'd make it out so he could do some further adventures, but nobody made it out. But,
Nobody made it.
It was one of those things, they as soon as, KS, K2SO started going, I was like, okay, here it is.
When he locked them in, I was like,
it's Dominoes, Dominoes. It was nice. So here's what I liked about their deaths, though, is, okay, you have Jin and Cassian, hugging each other on the beach as, the explosion comes towards them and they die. Okay, kind of a classic end of the world scenario. You see it in a lot of movies where 2 characters are just standing there waiting for death to come to them. I really like, because there could have been moments in there where they didn't try to play it up as a love interest. Like they didn't kiss or anything like that. Because I think they easily could have done that.
I thought they were gonna.
I didn't think they were going to. I didn't.
No, I mean there was a few moments where I felt like a kiss was coming.
Yeah, I'm glad they didn't, because it would have been cliche, and I just didn't get that vibe from them, and so I'm glad they didn't do it. They were just too.
I liked the way that it ended, though.
Yeah.
Like the way that they went out.
Yeah, exactly. Because
really
you
beautiful.
knew the only way we were able to accept this ending is because we know that in the end it all ends happy.
Yeah.
So that's kind of why we were able to accept these deaths as well. But, going back to this, adding those layers to Episode 4, A New Hope, was, all we knew was that these rebels had gotten in and stolen the Death Star plans and beamed them to Princess Leia. We didn't know there was this whole battle about
all those deaths.
Yeah, all those deaths and all these people just to get the plans out.
That's like all three, like episode 4, 5, and 6. You know, like when you watch them, it's like you know that there's a war, and like you assume that besides just those few fighter pilots that end up dying, that people are dying, but it's not like a focus. It's kind of brushed over. Well, and you know, like you kind of. It's like when you know it's unspoken that people are dying. Yeah. But you're not really thinking about it. Yeah. It's like with the Death Star. That's one thing I liked about when I read Lost Stars, where they talk about the impact that destroying the Death Star had on the Empire, because how many people were on that when the rebels destroyed it. And sure, they were all working for the Empire, but they weren't all like Imperial scum. They were people who were just doing their jobs, you know? It's just like people, you know, many of them lived in small planets that didn't have any kind of thing, and the only way out was to join the Empire and to be in the Imperial Navy. And so many of them did that just because that was all they knew how to do. All they knew that they could do was their only option. I mean, that happens these days. You have a lot of people who join the army because they don't know what they want to do, not because they have this huge, strong desire to, you know, my country, blah. I mean, sometimes they do, but sometimes it's just because I don't know what the hell I want to do. Yeah. So, I mean, I like now it's like we're getting to go back into the Star Wars universe and see really what the impact of that war, you know, back in the Clone Wars, and then also now with the Rebels and the Empire fighting, you're really seeing what the real impact was. Yeah. And this movie did a really good job of showing just how brutal the battles were. It's
one of the things, you know, because you watch the original trilogy, and what we're shown is where Luke and Leia are Han at, okay? And let's remember again, this is a war, so there are battles going on all throughout the galaxy, you know? So that's one thing I love is like this, you know, this isn't about, you know, our main characters that are going to impact the galaxy. These are about the little guys that, you know, are in the struggle every day, whose, you know, lives are in the balance, and they're not Jedi or, you know, Sith or whatever, but they're just on the ground fighting for their freedom, you know, for causes they believe in, or again, just fighting for the Empire because, you know, that's what the way they've been taught. And well, so that was, again, it was a great spin-off film. First, okay, here's the question I'm going to pose, okay, because it is the first of the spin-off films. I got 2 questions for you, okay? First of the spin-off films or Star Wars stories that we're going to get. The next one is going to be 2 years from now, which is going to be Han Solo. But can you really call, say, Han Solo film, or even what I consider the first spin-off film, Star Wars: The Clone Wars? Do you consider those spin-off films because they're still about the main characters in the episode? It's still about Obi-Wan and Anakin. It's still about Han, who is a main character. I don't consider them spin-off films because they're still about the main characters of the episodes, really.
I mean, I wouldn't consider the Clone Wars to be a spin-off film because it's literally about Anakin.
It's about Anakin, yeah, exactly. And
I don't consider that a spin-off. But this one, I think
Rogue One hands down is, yes.
I think
my question is Han Solo coming up. Yeah.
You think? I think
I wouldn't call it because this is like again.
Well,
like we said,
maybe is he's not a Skywalker. So even though he was a main character in the Star Wars films, he's not a Skywalker. And as we've established many times in discussing whether or not Rey is of the Skywalker lineage, the episodes are a Skywalker story. Okay. So I think a Han Solo movie, which is going to be about Han Solo pre-meeting Leia, will be. I think it'll be a spinoff.
I just episodes 4 through 7, he's like the second lead, you know. So I really don't consider it a spinoff. Rogue One, I consider a spinoff because
even though I'm saying how the movies are Skywalker films,
I got you. I totally get it.
Agree.
I don't know. It's a philosophical question. I can go either way with it. I'm just really trying to stir the pot. Is what I'm doing. So, in any event, there. But yeah, you know, Rogue One, I think it was a true spin-off film. So, judging from what Lucasfilm and Disney are trying to do with Star Wars right now, the way they're so much trying to expand the universe just beyond the movies and, you know, even entertainment value and stuff like that, do you feel like there is more importance of this film being successful than Episode 7?
Yeah. I think there's a lot more stakes here because people are going to go see the episodes no matter what shit they are. Because it's Star Wars.
The prequels prove that.
Exactly. I feel like the spin-off, if we want to keep getting spin-off films, I think they have to do
if we want more than just the Adventures of the Skywalker family.
Right, exactly. And I think the fact that people are so, like with the books, I mean, I can't be the only one that's reading them. But they're not about the Skywalkers, really. I mean, there are some that are, but like the one about Tarkin, that's one of my favorites. And that's about Tarkin.
Yeah.
And I didn't really like Lords of the Sith as much as other people did, and I know that one kind of doesn't really spin off much, but like Lost Stars was great. It was like all new characters except for little people thrown in here and there. That was great. Catalyst was, pretty good. But I mean, I think that the books are showing that there is interest in the other people in the Star Wars universe.
Just the universe in general.
Right, and I think that this film doing well, which I hope it really does, is going to show Lucasfilm, too, that people are interested in more than just the Skywalker story.
I agree with that, yeah. There's more to it. Yeah, that's cool. So, all right.
You don't have an opinion on that? You just wanted mine?
I just really wanted yours. I mean, I can look at it both ways. I mean, Episode 7 was an event in that it was the return of Star Wars after what people call the dark times, which is, there are two dark times. There's dark times, which is people say from Return of the Jedi to Episode 1 coming out, where there was, no new Star Wars hardly at all, really, to what people call the dark times, which was the prequels that a lot of people didn't like as well. And this is kind of it's definitely, we can all agree it's a rebirth for Star Wars ever since Disney took over. And Episode 7, The Force Awakens, was the first start of it for the general public. For people like us who are knee deep in this, or head deep, I guess really is what it is.
Shoulder deep, maybe.
I'm all in. I mean, I'm underwater here, okay? The first start for us was the Rebels and A New Dawn, because you had the A New Dawn, which was the lead into Star Wars Rebels.
See, right, I really like that book,
that
too.
was the first one that was the first new canon thing that came out, and then that came out like a week before Rebels. So those were the first two new canon things really we got out of the new Disney regime, is what it is. But Episode 7 was, the first general public release. So for that film to do well, I think was important. For this film, for Episode 7, it was to keep Star Wars alive. Rogue One, I think, is to keep Star Wars to expand, really. To keep it alive, you need the episode films. To keep it expanding, you need the spin-off films like Rogue One. So, something I totally forgot to talk about beforehand, and let's just get into it right now. This is the second Star Wars film with no crawl. How did you feel about how they opened it?
I don't know. I think I know I was saying on the way to the theater that I didn't think it needed a crawl. And I don't really I don't think that it did. I don't know that a crawl. I mean, I think the crawl, if there was a crawl, it would have been the synopsis of Catalyst.
Yeah, exactly.
So I think the fact that they just, instead of doing a crawl, released a book, I like that fine.
Well, of course, you really like to read the books. For those who didn't read the books, they might need a little more time to catch up.
Perhaps they should read the book.
Well, people don't read. You don't even read it anyway. You listen to it, okay?
It's the same difference.
Whatever. Okay, so...
How did you feel about no crawl?
I'm going to get into it in a second. Well, I'm going to get into it in just a sec, but in that respect, we sat down and watched Episode 4 the other night, too, as well, and I read the opening crawl, and I'm just like, that's everything we're going to go see in Rogue One. Like, that was, just like how you said, a crawl for Rogue One would have been Catalyst, the crawl for Episode 4 was Rogue One, is really what it's all about. With Episode 7, we had to get used to the 20th Century Fox music and logo not being there. It's a little odd, I think, growing up with it. So now with this one, the next film, we have to not only do that again, but then we also have to get used to not having Star Wars blazed right in front of it.
Yeah, it didn't have the music either. The entry music was different.
I think I missed that more than the actual crawl. If they would have just been like, dun, dun, dun,
yeah, because the music was wrong.
Exactly. I felt, I mean,
I liked it. I liked it, though, because I think it's setting these apart as a spin-off. I think
I'm fine with saying it. And it did say, you still had the long time to go in a galaxy far, far away. Immediately got into it. I wasn't a big fan of, after the intro, you got Rogue One. And I was like, I wasn't a big fan. You don't notice, though, like, in the entire... You didn't get the word Star Wars at all in the beginning. It was Rogue One. It wasn't... I was hoping it was going to be Rogue One, and then they fade in a Star Wars story. But you didn't get that. You saw Rogue One.
You don't need it.
How the hell do I know what I could watch Star Trek for all I know?
Except that you don't, because you know what you are seeing.
You don't know, okay? I mean, obviously, I'm just saying. I'm underwater here, okay? I'm talking about the general public, okay? Somebody could be dragged to that film and then be like, hey, you want to watch a movie? Yeah, let's go watch a movie. What am I watching? What is this? You know? They have no idea what it is.
Well, I don't care, because if the general public is that stupid, then I'm done. Believe me, after the day I had at work today, I am done babying the general public.
You do know they voted for Donald Trump, right?
I'm over it, is all I'm saying. If people want to be whatever, I can't anymore.
All right, fair enough.
I just can't. I can't even.
Can't even. Oh, man. But, yeah, so that would take a little used to. I don't know. I mean, for me, the signification of that, immediately jumping into dun, it really, makes you jump and kind of gets you a little amped.
I do agree. I miss that music.
I mean, I don't care. Just give me that with Star Wars going back, and then maybe just put Rogue One there or something, Give me something. You don't do a crawl. Just give me Star Wars, fade in Rogue One, die down the music, and then, but they did have the signature ship coming overhead as well. So you got that. So that's kind of a signature Star Wars thing as well that starts every movie. So
I did miss that sound and all that, but I don't feel like the movie was worse off because it was missing. I don't think it detracted at all from the quality of the film.
Fair enough. All right, so just to make sure we don't miss anything in our reviews, guys, what I like to do is have on my phone, I pull up the IMDb page for the website and just kind of go down the cast list a little bit and just kind of make sure we go through character for character, not sure missing any scenes or little tidbits that we wanted to talk about, and just overall thoughts about how that character was or perhaps how that person did with acting. But before we do that, we got to go back to Darth Julius Vader. We're going to start off with him. He's not on the cast list here. So that's why I want to get off the bat. Unbelievable. You were talking earlier about how every scene he owned. He was awesome. He was the Darth Vader that, is feared in the whole galaxy. And everything around him, everything they did, I feel like they did it with so much care. So first off, let's talk about this. The fact that when Krennic goes to meet him, his, lair is on Mustafar. The place of, the destination of his own damnation is where he set up shop, pretty much. I mean, what does that say about his internal psyche if he wants to be to a place that caused him so much harm?
It's because he thrives on his pain.
That's true. That's true. From Dark Lords of the Sith. That's right. There, he was talking about how much he had to remember how angry he was to keep himself powerful.
Yeah, he lives for the pain. Okay. And that place is a reminder of everything he lost.
Yeah, he lost Padme, he lost Obi-Wan, he lost,
everything.
Definitely. Okay, I'll give you that. And then we finally got the answer from the trailer, who was in the Banta tank, and that was Vader himself. Now, for a second there, I thought they were going to give a good look at him, and you could almost see Hayden Christensen, but you didn't get a good look at him.
No.
So, but anyway, you know Vader was in there. And now the question comes up, okay, so he's in there rejuvenating. Is he rejuvenating because he just got injured in battle, or does he have to go in there every once in a while just to kind of recharge his body or something like that? How often does he have to do that,
Yeah, who knows? Maybe. I mean, he's not much man left in there. I mean,
I wonder if the actual Rogue One novelization has the answer for that.
When does that come out?
I don't know. It's probably got to be out by now, I'm sure.
Oh, usually they wait for the movies to come out.
I'll look it up. But yeah, I mean, I'm sure in the novelization, that's something they would put in there about why he's in there or how many times he has to be in there just to keep himself alive, perhaps. And then, of course, he was very dominant. I didn't like how squeaky clean he was as well.
He would just keep getting a new suit. Yeah, he would want to stay pretty bright and shiny.
He's got the suits hanging in his closet, just 20 of them there. Right, exactly. Be like, which one? Should I go with the black or the black or the black? But, okay, so there's that. But yeah, that was a little interesting as well. And then, of course, the other scene where he kind of came in was at the end. I loved how they did it. Where he came in there really fast with the Star Destroyer. They attached on quick, and then you have the Rebel fighters just sitting there and basically looking at a dark black cloud, and all you hear is the breathing. It was magnificent. And then what happened?
He kicks everyone's asses.
He ignites the lightsaber and just kicks everyone's ass. And you feel the tension in that scene as that other guy is trying to get, the plans out or whatever. At first he's trying to save his life, but then he realizes, I'm screwed. Take the plans,
Yeah.
And, he comes so close to getting them too, through all his abilities. One thing, I will go back to that scene a little bit, where you have Mon Mothma and Bail Organa, who have that little side conversation about, what about your Jedi friend? Of course, we know they're talking about Obi-Wan, and he's like, well, I'll see what he can do, see if we can find him. And then she's like, send someone you trust. And he's like, I trust her with my life. We know, she returned to Leia. But, okay, in that scene, Leia was in the battle. So if Bail had gone and sent her...
No, Leia wasn't in the battle.
Well, yeah, no, because the ship detached from the main ship.
I don't think she was in that ship.
Yeah, she was. Okay, so you have the main ship where the Admiral Akbar wannabe was in there. Okay, I don't know his name. He looked like he wanted to be Admiral Akbar. But, okay, and then that's where the plans were sent to. So they had the plans.
Right.
Vader goes on to that ship.
Yeah, I know. And then a ship detached. I don't think she was on the ship that detached, so I think that took it to her.
No, because that was the ship she was on.
I don't know.
That was the ship.
I don't think she was there.
That was the exact ship at the beginning of episode 4. If you look at it, was attached to the big old ship, and then they detached, and then they left, which means Leia was on that ship, which means Leia was there during the battle.
I don't think so.
But Bail was sending her to go get Obi-Wan. Now, whether she made a pit stop or what happened there, but,
I don't know. I don't think so. I think we'll have to go back and look at that. I don't think she was there.
I think pretty sure I'm right, because that was the exact ship, so...
He was the only one that looked like that in the entire Star Wars universe.
I'm not saying that's the only one of its class, but it's just a coincidence that 5 minutes before Episode 4 happens, this ship goes away with the Death Star plans on it. I'm just saying. Okay, so anything more about Darth Vader except for the fact that he was awesome?
No.
Okay, so let's get into the actual cast. Starting off, Felicity Jones as Jyn Erso. Overall, another female lead for the Star Wars universe. Last film we had... Rey. Now we have Jyn, starting to kind of, get that little feminine presence into the Star Wars universe. How did you feel about Jyn as a character? Did you like her? Did you relate to her?
I did. I liked her. Mm-hmm. I thought Felicity Jones did a great job. I thought she was a good character.
Okay, so compare... Sorry, the dog was making noises. I thought she was doing something there for a sec. So compared to Rey, do you like her better as a character than Rey?
It's different. I can't compare.
You can't compare
different. I mean, that would be like, who do you like better, Leia or? I can't go through and choose who my favorite is.
Well, since you gave no answer, I'm gonna say Leia.
No, I'm just saying I don't have a favorite. They're so different of characters.
They are pretty different, of course, but it's about who you relate to more, I guess you could say. I mean, because
I don't relate to either of them.
I would attach. Luke is my favorite Star Wars character because
he's whiny.
Shut up, okay? Not only because I grew up with him, but because he's most relatable. Because he's a whiny. He was a coming of age. He was the main character who had his hero's journey. Okay, shut up. So, but yeah, you attach to certain characters because you can relate to them.
I don't relate to any of the female characters in Star Wars. Not enough to have a favorite based on my relatability. I liked Jyn a lot. I thought she was a good character. I thought she did very well in the role that was provided to her. I thought she was not afraid. I liked that she was a badass, kicking people's asses with her stick, similar to Rey. But I liked Jyn.
She had like a billy club or something.
Yeah, I don't know. It was cool. But yeah, I thought Jyn was awesome.
I think they definitely opened the door for, in books and comics to expand on where, what happened to her, how she grew up and stuff like that. Yeah. I'm sure we're going to get told that story about, what she was like on her own and maybe how she got put in that prison there as well at the beginning. So, but yeah. So that's that. Next on our other lead, we talked a little bit about Cassian as well, played by Diego Luna. Again, good character, a good story arc.
I liked all the characters.
Okay. I'm just trying to make sure we don't miss anything as far as the logistics and the idiosyncrasies of what they are. What do you say the word?
Idiosyncrasies.
There you go, see?
You can't just make up words on the podcast.
Somebody's got to make up words in life, okay? The dictionary didn't just fill itself, okay? Somebody made up words, okay? It's not like an official guy who gets to make up the words, okay? If, what's up gets to make the dictionary, why can't I throw a few in there, okay? Anyway, going down, Alan Tudyk as K2SO.
I loved him.
All right. Okay, so favorite droid or not?
I don't know. I've been thinking about that because I
know you've been quite attached to not only BB-8 but also
Chopper. And the thing I like about Chopper is his like spunky, sassy personality, and that's what I love about Chopper is how he kind of like sasses them. Like he like fights back. He's very
he's not just like yes master,
right? Exactly. He has his own like personality. Yeah, he has his own
3PO is very
his own plans. He disobeys. Like I like that about Chopper. And what is it? K2SO.
K2SO.
Yeah, that's one thing I like about him. I just like he doesn't necessarily disobey. Like he follows directions, but he's funny. Like he's funny. He's sassy. His personality is like quirky. I just thought he was great.
Yeah, definitely. And it was funny, like going back, I'm curious to see some behind the scenes stuff as what Alan Tudyk had to go through.
Yeah.
Because I know I've seen stuff where him wearing like, the CGI outfit or whatever and being with everyone. I'm curious to see how that all worked out as well. But as soon as they said Alan Tudyk was going to be in it, I'm like, no problem.
He may be my favorite droid now.
Yeah, I don't know. I know. R2 will never get bumped off my list.
R2 is so reliable, and he's
the hero of the entire Star Wars saga.
He is, but he's not funny. You don't know what he's saying. He has no personality.
Oh, he doesn't. You just make up words. There are people out there who have given him words to say. But anyway, okay. So moving down there, Donnie Yen as Chirrut. I don't know. I never.
Whatever. He was awesome.
He was he was force sensitive. You could definitely tell that. Wouldn't call him a Jedi because we know.
Well, he wasn't a Jedi.
We know there are people in the Star Wars universe, such as Maz Kanata from Force Awakens, who are in tune with the Force but aren't really Jedi or Sith or even Knights of Ren or whatever.
Obviously, you wouldn't be a Jedi or a Sith in this time period because there is no Jedi.
So do you think maybe he was a former Jedi in training
No, I think he was just Force sensitive.
He was just Force sensitive who had no training at all.
Yeah, I think that's what I think.
But the Jedi were known for finding people in the galaxy when they were children that were Force sensitive and trying to bring them in to train them as Jedi.
Yeah, but he was a protector of the Kyber crystals. That was his. That's that whole Jedi. Group of people in Jeddah.
Which is where the Jedi were.
Right.
So he worked for the Jedi.
Right. He was a protector of the Kyber crystals.
He was a Jedi. I'm just leading the trail of breadcrumbs here.
I don't think he was a Jedi.
I think he had some kind of Jedi training, or something to where when Order 66 went down, or when the Empire came for the Kyber crystals, something happened. Maybe that's how he got blind as well. And he's just been living on Jeddah ever since.
I don't think so. That's my personal opinion is that he just is Force sensitive.
Well, that's kind of lame, okay? I'm trying to add some spunk to his backstory here, okay?
I'm just trying to say I don't think so.
Okay, all right, moving on from there. So the character, his friend.
With a big gun.
Served a purpose.
He's just a dude with a
really
big
cool.
gun.
He was Donnie Yen's,
sidekick.
Friend, yeah. That was kind of his role in it. He was good shot, all that stuff. Served a purpose. Again, him and Donnie Yen and the other guy, the Imperial defect or whatever, the guy.
The pilot.
They didn't have, big storylines. They were there to support Jin and Cassian is really what it was all about in that respect. So, okay. Let's see here. We already talked about Krennic. Talked about that, kind of how he didn't have a lot to do. Forrest Whitaker as Saw Gerrera.
Yeah, he was weird. It wasn't what I expected.
Well, because they were talking about how, he had been fighting, the Empire or been in the rebellion for so long.
He hadn't been in the rebellion. He'd been fighting the Empire separate from the rebellion.
Well, he was part of the rebellion, but then he defected because he became so extreme, is what they said. So,
but that had been a long time ago.
Yeah, exactly. So he was a little weird. He had, looked like he was falling apart with the breathing machine and all that stuff. So
yeah.
But yeah, Forrest Whitaker pulled it off good.
I don't know. I thought
again, it's one of those things where when you go back and we hear more about Jin's backstory, I'm sure it'll be side by side with Saw's backstory as well. Bodhi Rook, the Imperial who defected, not bad character. Again, they deserved it.
I thought he was good though. I liked his story arc at the end.
Okay. Mads Mikkelsen as Galen Erso. So are you?
I wish he'd been in it more.
I was gonna say because I knew from the beginning the way they were setting up that beginning scene. I knew obviously Jen was gonna survive, and Galen, they needed Galen, so I knew Lyra was gonna.
Yeah,
she was gonna go, and I was sad because again I loved her so much from Catalyst. I was kind of a little.
She was such a strong character in Catalyst. You know, like it's
And one thing though too I noticed is. I wanted the Kyber crystal that her mom gave her to do something. I felt like it was going to serve a purpose at some point, much like how her father called her Stardust, and it meant something later on, but it never did. It was just,
Well, she doesn't have any force power.
I mean,
what did she do to the
maybe
Kyber
it was
crystal?
something, maybe of the sense that if I go back and look at it this way, it was the same thing as saying a mother giving their child a cross or something like that. I mean, the faith, of what they believe in, perhaps, to protect them. Okay, so we had Jimmy Smits coming in as Bail Organa. Yeah, didn't have a lot of lines, but he stepped up. I like how they introduced him. He kind of stepped up in the shadow. And we were like, oh, it's Bail. That was awesome.
I didn't do that. You just did.
And then what's her name? Genevieve O'Reilly as Mon Mothma. So.
She was good.
Yeah, so again, I made you sit down the other day and watch the deleted scenes from episode 3 with her playing Mon Mothma in episode 3. Did he feel like it helped you set you up at all, perhaps?
No, I don't think that's necessary at all.
But this was about, you had the main characters in this were Mon Mothma and Bail Organa for the rebellion, and then in episode 3 you see the two of them sit down with Padme talking about rebellion.
Yeah, I don't think those scenes were necessary for me to know that they started the rebellion. I think we know enough about Bail and Leia to know he was part of arranging the rebellion, and I think we know enough about Mon Mothma from episodes 4 and all to know that she was also part of it.
Okay. All right. Well, pretty much everyone else is just kind of secondary characters. So I think that's going to be it as far as
so my big question then is timeline.
Okay.
So, in the book, so Jin's age in relation to Leia and Luke, my thought from the book, she's not that much older than them.
She's not that much older, but she's a few years older.
Right, a few years older. But in this, so at the beginning of this film, when Galen was taken to go work for the Empire, she was probably, 10? 8?
Maybe.
8 or 10? And then saw Race until she was 15. And then she said she hadn't seen him, hadn't seen her dad in 15 years. Isn't that what she said?
Yeah.
So she probably hadn't seen Saw in 10 years. So she was, 25?
I was going to say, the way I would calculate it is 23 or something.
But, I don't think that makes sense. It had to have been at least 25.
Okay, let's look at the timeline.
And that would be assuming she was 6 at the beginning of the film.
But okay,
she looked more...
she was born at the beginning of the Clone Wars, correct? It'd been 1 year in the Clone Wars, I believe, right?
No, it was further than that.
No, I don't think it was, honestly. I don't think it was. Because the Clone Wars lasted 3 years. Okay?
You gotta think about it. When Galen and Lyra were in Catalyst, when they were on Coruscant, and Galen
We're going full geek, guys. If you don't know Catalyst, you can turn out if you want.
And when Galen was working there in his lab that Krennic set up for him, the Clone Wars was over. The Clone Wars had already ended.
Yeah, when he was working in his lab on Coruscant, right?
During that time period, Jin was under 5. She was less than 5.
Yeah, she was 3 or so.
4. So she would have had to have been born after the Clone Wars. The Clone Wars were over already then.
No. Okay, hold on. Let me think about that. Okay, so that was after Clone Wars, okay?
Clone Wars was over.
So, and she was 3 or 4?
Yeah. So she should only be just 3 or 4 years older than them.
Yeah, exactly.
That's but I'm saying, I know, yes, that's what I'm saying, just in that timeline. But when you look at the film, at the beginning of this film, she had to have been 8 or 10.
Wait, do we know... Well, like I said, we're all assuming we know exactly what age, or kind of guessing what age she was at the beginning of the setup for the film.
Right. So I'm saying if you're looking at her at the beginning of the film, there's no way she was only, 5 or 6.
I could see her being 7, maybe 8, yeah.
So even say she's 8, and then she says at the beginning of this film it was 15 years since she saw her dad. That would put her right at 23. I don't know. I just feel
Nailed it. Called it. See? Don't mess with the Jedi, all right? I know this stuff, all right? Yes, she's a couple years older than what Luke and Leia are and Ezra, because, So, but that. Okay, so we solved that. So, anything else you guys want me to take care of? I'm here all night. You know where to find me. So, all right. So I think that's going to be it. Unless there's anything else you want to talk about. I mean, I think we've covered pretty much the basis of it all overall. But yeah, guys. Obviously, hopefully, if you're still with us, you have seen Rogue One, because otherwise you just got everything spoiled for you. But then again, I guess we just saved you about $12, $13 too. In any event, I'm definitely excited to go see the movie again, just to look for more Easter eggs, and again to just try to see all the stuff that I didn't see before. Normally when I do these movie reviews, I like to see the movie twice, but I'm not going to have time, especially since there's...
It's Christmas coming up.
It's Christmas, and plus there's so many movies I want to go see. Tuesday, I want to go see La La Land, because that just came out. You want to go with me?
I don't know. We'll have to talk about it.
We'll talk about that. But yes, anyway, there's so many other movies, especially getting award season, that I want to see. But I'm going to try to fit in Rogue One at least once more. If I don't do it within the next week or so, of course, I'll, as Lisa said on this last week's show, I'll have plenty of time to do it when her and Nora are gone to the far north to freeze to death. All right, guys. So the important thing is not what we think, it's what you think. Who said that?
You say that all the time.
No, John Campia says that all the time on Collider. So let us know. Hit us up on social media, the Facebook group, Twitter, Instagram. You find me on Slim Dayspring 12. Just let us know, guys, okay? So Lisa looks like she's crawling into bed already, and she is done. She doesn't even want to say goodbye.
Bye.
Yeah. All right, guys. So meet up with us on Tuesday, our regular time, and we'll be talking about some good stuff there. I'm looking forward to talking about some more WB DC news coming out, which sent John Campia into a frenzy on yesterday's movie talk. I never heard the man be as outraged as I have than the DC news that came out this week. So we'll just have to wait and see about that. So until next time, guys, may the Force be with us all.